I'm 20 years old and I'm currently studying chemistry with a minor of pharmacology. In my spare time, I do a bit of writing. I play a lot of video games, and I like to spend time with my friends. I'm from Hong Kong, and in Hong Kong I was a competitive gymnast. I did a lot of tournaments, I trained every day, and of course, being a gymnast, I got injured a lot. And I think a month before regionals in my grade 7 year, I got injured badly enough that I wasn't allowed to compete. I was really sad about that because, I had been practicing a lot for it, I'd done a lot of training, and then all I had to show for it was an injury. Even though, you're not supposed to play with your injuries, that was something I did quite a bit. I'd like to play with, popping my joint in and out. A couple months later, my mother and my brother and I, we moved to Vancouver. We moved here to Canada for me to start high school. And my mother enrolled me in French immersion. Being from Hong Kong, I had never spoken a word of French in my life, so it was a little bit stressful. New school, no friends. I was still slightly injured at that point. And I think it was all of that stress and obstacles in my way that started me, that's how I started self-harming. I popped my shoulder out of its socket. I scratched myself a lot. A lot of it was because I found that, especially if I was in situations with a lot of stress, my mind would wander a lot. I would think about all the different possibilities, usually the worst ones first. What happens if I don't do well on this test? What are the repercussions of that? How is it going to negatively affect my life? And I found that a little bit of pain always helped me focus. It stopped my mind from wandering. I would stop trying to think about what happens next, and I would focus on the task. During gym, my gym teacher said, you can't run around in your school clothes, obviously. So we had to change for gym, and usually I changed in the stalls because I didn't want people to see scars and scratching. And actually, one of my friends saw my injuries and got worried because this was around the time when schools had started telling people, okay, if you think friends are hurting themselves, you should talk to people about it. So she got really worried, understandably, and she went to the counselor and said, hey, I think my friend has a problem. And so one day, I got called in over the PA really loudly to go see the counselor. I was really angry at first because to me it was a little bit of a betrayal to have my friend basically go behind my back and then tell someone something about myself that I said, well, it works for me. It helps me focus. Yes, it hurts, but it's something that will help me do what I need to do. My counselor did try a few different methods to help me with my stress. There was a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of, let's just try a few different things and see what works for you. Because of my injuries, I was still incapable of doing most physical exercise. I can't run for long periods, well, for even short periods of time. I'm an awful cook. I can't really draw either. But what I did eventually find was really helpful was writing. For me, it was a little bit of the release, I guess, of not having to think about what happens to me. It was, I make some character, I can basically do whatever I want with it. Like, I don't need to worry about how it will affect me in the long run. People who are currently having problems with self-harm or self-injury, one of the most important things for you to know is that it seems like it's a very central part of you. It seems like, you know, the only way maybe you can get through your day is with self-harm. And while it is a short-term method of coping, it's not part of you so much as it's just something that affects you. When it comes to the scarring, it's really, we know it's there. We know it's there, you know it's there, we know you know it's there. Don't point it out because, you know, to us it's a very private part of our lives, you know, it's a very hard time for us. And, you know, the fact that we're already capable of putting it out there, it was for us a big step. It took me a long time to be able to wear shorts or short sleeves. You know, because I didn't want people to see, because there's always that stigma of, oh, you know, you're someone who self-harms, and suddenly, you know, if someone sees that, that's all you become. You become that person who self-harms. There's nothing else to you, and you know, when you first meet someone, that's not the kind of impression you want to give them. Really, it's just about respect.